just do it. You need more discipline. You've heard it, you've tried it, and yet here you are. What if the reason you keep quitting, stopping, and going back to old habits isn't weakness? What if it is something in you that is working as hard as it can to protect you from something you haven't even looked at yet? In this video, I want to show you why discipline is not your problem, what is actually keeping you from following through, and specific ways to start looking in the right direction, including one that might surprise you. I will also tell you about a client of mine who did the lose and gain weight for years before she discovered success. And that had nothing to do with willpower, discipline, and everything to do with something she didn't even know she believed. Let's go. Hi everyone, I'm Donnielle Carter, certified wellness coach for nearly 20 years, and this video is for anyone who has ever looked at themselves and thought, why can't I just ever seem to do what I say I'm going to do? You start strong, you start motivated, clear, and ready. And then somewhere between the starting and the finishing, you stop. And then comes the story. I just don't have enough discipline. I'm lazy. Well, other people can do this, why can't I? Here's what I want you to hear before we go any further. That story, it's not true. And more importantly, it is keeping you from looking at what actually is. Let's talk about discipline for a moment, because discipline is not a bad thing. Mental strength matters, follow through matters, and commitment matters. But here's where discipline becomes a lie. When we use it as the only answer. When the response to, I can't seem to stick to this, is simply try harder, push more, just do it. We are treating a symptom and calling it a cure. Because discipline says, mind over matter, override the resistance, push through. And that works. Sometimes. For a while. But if you have ever white-knuckled your way through a diet only to gain the weight back, or committed to finishing a project by spending an hour on it every day and then stopped after 2 days, or starting something with absolute certainty and quietly abandon it 3 weeks later, discipline was not the missing ingredient. Something else was going on underneath, and no amount of pushing harder was going to make it work. Here's the question discipline never asks. Do I actually want this? Not, do I think I should want this? Not, everyone has told me this is what I should want. Not, does this look like the right thing to want? But do I genuinely, in my body, in my energy, in my actual life, desire this outcome? If yes, then what is making me hesitate, stop it, or not go on? Those two questions change everything, because when you get honest answers to them, you stop fighting yourself and you start working with yourself instead. Here's what I've seen constantly over 20 years. When people cannot follow through on something they say they want, it is almost never about laziness. It is almost never about discipline. It's about an internal conversation that has not been looked at. And that internal conversation is usually one of two things. Either they do not actually want the thing they think they want, or they want what they think it will bring them. The feeling, the freedom, the relief. But the path to it does not align with who they are or what they truly value. Or they do want it genuinely, deeply, but something else in them wants something different more. And that something else is running quietly in the background, pulling the brake every single time. And they have no idea it's even there. This is not weakness. This is your universe guiding you. This is an internal strength, misdirected maybe, but a strength nonetheless. And the only way to change it is to look at it directly. Not push harder over the top of it, but be present with it and look at it. Let me tell you about this client I have. She has been trying to lose weight for years, and every time she did, she would gain it back. Different programs, different approaches, different levels of discipline and commitment. And every time, the same result. So, this time we did something different. Instead of only looking at what she was eating or how she was moving, we looked underneath. I asked her 2 questions. 1, why do you want to lose weight? Let her respond. And then second, why do you not want to lose weight? The second question is one most people never ask themselves. And what came up surprised her completely. See, her parents had cheated on each other. And somewhere deep in her, not consciously, not deliberately, but she had decided that if she lost weight, she would cheat on her husband. That point of view was running her life. Every time she started to make progress, that part of her pulled a brake. Not because she was weak, not because she lacked discipline, but because the desire to protect her marriage was stronger than the desire to lose weight. And she didn't even know it was in there. When I asked her, do you actually want to cheat on your husband? No, she didn't, not even slightly, and she never has. But that point of view had made decisions for her body without her conscious knowledge. And here's what I want you to see in that story. That is not a failure of discipline. That is an extraordinary, powerful creator. She was so committed to her marriage, so strong in that desire that she unconsciously engineered her entire body to protect it. That is not weakness. That is strength, just pointed in the wrong direction. And the moment we cleared that point of view, the weight loss became possible in a way it had never been before. And she has kept it off because the strength was always there. She was just using it to create something that she didn't know that she desired. And so when we changed that point of view, she was able to use that strength in a different direction. So here are 5 specific shifts that you can do instead of telling yourself to just try harder. Shift number 5. Ask the question discipline never asks. Before you commit to anything, before you write the goal, start the program, make the announcement of this is what you're going to do, sit down and ask yourself honestly, do I actually want this? Do I want this outcome? Those are 2 different questions with different answers. And if the honest answer is that you want the feeling, but not the path, that is not failure. That is information, and is information that you can work with. Discipline gives you nothing to work with. Clarity gives you everything. Because if you know you want the outcome, but not the path, then you can choose a different path to get to that outcome. Shift number 4. Look for the hidden opposing desire. This is the one that changes everything. These are the exact questions I used with my client. And the moment I asked her, she blurted it out, just like that. It was right there the whole time. So for everything you say you want but cannot seem to create, ask, what do I think will happen if I create this? Or why would I not want to create this? Not as a criticism, not as judgment, as genuine curiosity. What is the part of me that keeps pulling the brake? And what is it trying to protect? You do not have to dig alone. Sometimes this conversation takes a coach, a trusted person who will ask you the questions that you won't ask yourself. But start by just being willing to look, because the opposing desire is not your enemy. It's a part of you, and it has a reason. Understanding it is how you work with it instead of against it. Shift number 3, change the internal conversation before you change the behavior. Most people try to change the action first and wonder why the feeling doesn't follow. Well, it's because it works the other way. When the internal conversation shifts, when you genuinely get clear on what you want and why, the behavior becomes easier almost automatically. Not effortless, but easier, because you are no longer fighting two parts of yourself. You are now moving in one direction. So before you try again, before you restart the program, reopen the project, recommit to the goal, ask, has my internal conversation changed? If it hasn't, the result won't either. If it has, you may be surprised by how much less force it takes to get there. Shift number 2, stop calling it laziness. This one is direct, and I mean it with kindness. Lazy is a judgment, and judgment stops inquiry. The moment you call yourself lazy, you have ended the conversation and the exploration. You have decided the answer is a character flaw and moved on. But instead, if you get curious, why am I not doing this? What is underneath this? What does this hesitation know that I don't? Now you're in a conversation that can actually go somewhere. Lazy is a dead end. Curiosity opens the door to what you desire and the path that it can take. You might even find that the path is funner to go down. Shift number 1, get still enough to hear yourself. This is the one that makes all the others possible. You cannot hear the internal conversation if you never stop long enough to listen to it. And most people never stop. They push harder, add more, stay busier, and then wonder why they feel disconnected from what they actually want or even their lives. So here's what I want you to try. 5 minutes. That's all. Just 5 minutes. No phone, no task, no content to consume. Just you. Sitting with yourself asking, what do I actually want right now? What am I feeling about this thing I say I want to do? What is here that I haven't looked at? You do not need a formal meditation practice, and I do love them. Give them a try sometime. You just need to be present with yourself long enough to hear what is already there. Because the answers are not hiding from you. You may have just been too busy to listen. And when you finally sit still long enough, you'll be surprised by what you already know. My friend, you do not lack discipline. You have never lacked discipline. What you may have lacked is just the right conversation, the clarity. The conversation, the one that asks not, why aren't you doing this? But what is underneath the not doing? That question, answered honestly, is where real change lives. Not in more willpower, not in pushing more, not in just do it. In more clarity. And if you find yourself wanting help uncovering what is underneath, that's exactly the work I do with people. Not forcing change from the outside in, but clearing what is blocking from the inside out. There's a link below if you want to explore working together. No pressure, just an invitation if you desire it. Because my friend, you are not broken. You are not lazy. You are someone whose strength has just been pointed in a direction you haven't even seen yet. And the moment you see it, everything changes, the path open. Thank you so much, my friend, for being here and pushing play today. And if this contributed to you, please subscribe, like, and share it with somebody else who has been telling themselves that they just need to do it and push harder. And check out this video right here for more mindset shifting tips and tricks. And until we play again, keep creating a life every day that inspires you to live it. I'll see you soon.